Hey guys, Zombiru Blitz here, and today I have a review on the Tier 5 American Collector Tank Destroyer. That's a mouthful, the T67. Now this is a vehicle I've been playing a lot recently. It's a lot of fun. I just wanted to review it and let you guys know why I've been playing it so much recently. Without further ado, let's get into some statistics. So here we are in the comparison, and I decided to compare the T67 with all the other Tech Tree Tier 5 tank destroyers, and we are going to start with firepower. Now keep in mind I don't have equipment or provisions on any of these, so these are all stock statistics. You can actually max them out a little bit higher. Next, the Alpha is actually 165 for a 76 millimeter according to the tank comparison, but 165 rather than 160 like the other tanks. And of course, these tanks do not have the same size gun, but shh. And as you can see here, it actually has a pretty high rate of fire at 9.2, which is the best out of all of these Tier 5 tank destroyers other than the Stug 3 and the amazing 16 rounds per minute that the AT2 has. As you can see here, the shell velocity on the T67 is actually a rather low 792, being the same as the M10 Wolverine, and it is lower than all the other Tech Tree Tier 5 tank destroyers. And the highest looks like it is the Su-85 at 950, which this means that this tank's going to be able to snipe a lot better. Now on to the weapon handling. Its aim time is another average number at 1.8 versus the 1.63 of the M10 and the Stug and the AT2. But it is better than the S35 and the Su-85, which both have over 2 seconds of aim time. But of course, keep in mind the S35 and the Su-85 both have much bigger guns, so I guess that's one of the trade-offs, you know. Now, surprisingly, the T67 actually has the worst dispersion value at 0.39 out of this comparison, with the best being the Stug 3 with 0.31, which is a pretty big difference of negative 24%. Now, this combined with the aim time, the okay aim time and the okay shell velocity, definitely means that you're going to have to play a little bit more aggressively in this tank than the other ones. Now the dispersion values on moving or rotating the tank are average at 0.21, with the worst in this comparison being the Su-85 at 0.25 and the best being the Stug 3 at 0.12. Now on to the depression elevation angles. The T67 actually has 10 degrees of gun depression and 20 elevation, but this 10 degrees is very important as it's going to allow you to be extremely flexible on a ridge line, whereas other tanks like the Stug 3, for example, or the Su-85 have 7 or even 6 degrees of gun depression. Now, onto the aiming arc. The T67 actually has a turret just like its other counterpart, the M10 Wolverine, giving it 180 degrees to both the left and to the right. Now, this has a great advantage over tanks like the Stug, or I guess anything else that doesn't have a turret, just because it allows you to be ultimately way more flexible and honestly any situation. Now on to the mobility. This tank has a rather nice actually top speed of 55, being the highest out of all of these tanks in the comparison, with a very nice amount of reverse speed at 20 kilometers per hour. Now you'll notice that the T67 actually has the second lowest horsepower in this comparison, right after the S35CA at 260 horsepower. But I'm sure you're thinking, wow, 350 horsepower? That's probably not going to get up to speed. Well, yeah, it is. As you can see down here, it actually has a great horsepower to ton ratio of 24.34, which is way higher than even the pretty respectable 20 horsepower per ton that the Stug 3 has. So it is definitely getting up to that 55 top speed pretty fast. Now another thing that you can see here is this tank has amazing camo ratings compared to these other tanks. At 41%, it is actually one of the highest in the game, I believe. And in game, I actually have this maxed out to 77% when still. And don't forget, this tank actually has a turret, so you don't have to reset your camo, or you don't have to at least lower it to the 25% when moving, which is still pretty respectable. Finally, as you can see, the armor values on this tank are abysmal, actually worst out of the comparison. You can see the turret armor and the hull armor both are 25 and 22, meaning even low penetration HE guns like the 40mm penetration HE guns can penetrate your front very, very easily and reliably, so do not count on your armor at all. But stats aren't everything, as you guys know, so let's get stuck into some gameplay. I'm in a game in my T67 finally, after all those statistics, or if you just decided to skip through all of it, then you're here from skipping through all of it. But anyways, right off the bat, you can see how fast this tank is. It's pretty impressive. I don't know. Like, I'm already there. I'm just as fast as the mediums, but I didn't even spawn as close as they did, so you gotta keep that in mind, that I'm actually faster than a lot of my team's mediums in a tank destroyer. Now, what I'm thinking here is I'm just going to use my camera rating for the early battle, stay hidden, try and get some spots in this bush. And usually this spot actually works. I've never seen it work in another tank, but I'm completely unspotted here, and then I fire, and then of course I'm spotted because you're spotting, your camouflage ratio goes down. But it's really impressive that I'm able to go up there in that bush and actually hold that spot. I don't know, it's really amazing to me. But now I'm thinking, okay, we gotta clear this M42 and the other M42. My god, they're everywhere since this new update. But good high roll, 196 into that guy's turret. And now you're going to see the DPM of this thing. I hit R for my adrenaline, one shot in, immediately another shot in. I had help from some of my teammates, but you see the flexibility this has between the speed, the DPM, like the 5-second reload on adrenaline, the DPM, and having a turret's very important as well. Interesting bounce there. Don't know what that happened. That's another good example. I missed that Churchill just because this thing is really, really bad at snapshotting, and that's definitely the, I guess, the lower than average gun statistics showing through. Now, I just reset camo, trying to get this T57, or not T57, this T1, and I unfortunately don't have enough camo on the move to pull out there. That was a little bit of a stupid shot. Now I see the T50, or the T1 heavy's pushing me. And this is a fragile little tank, so I need to make sure he doesn't actually push me. That was a stupid shot. Once again. But here, I see the side, and I don't know exactly what this T57's doing, but this is another really good example of the DPM this tank has. Try to track him, lock him down in case he tries to escape. And boom, already done. And we're at 1,100 damage at tier 5. I guess I'd say that's pretty respectable. And sometimes whenever you're at close range, you can shotgun tanks, like I just did that to that Churchill. I am kind of noticing in the replay here that you saw whenever I loaded APCR, I still struggled to penetrate the front of an AT2. AT2 is a very strong tank, don't get me wrong, but this tank's penetration definitely is lacking to, I guess, behind some of the other TDs, but that is usually the trade-off you get for more DPM. Now here's this Leopard, the last guy left. I flubbed this shot just because I keep trying to go for his track, just because it's not a nice thing to do. A lot of people don't like it, but it actually does help you out a lot. It's a good thing to do, and that's why I don't take the shot here until he turns, but I miss. And that's another thing, the low shell velocity kind of screwed me there. I'm used to playing a little bit higher shell velocity tanks, but of course I could have loaded APCR to have a slightly faster shell. Now, pull up here and finish the Leopard off. Well, 1.3k damage, that's pretty good. Great tank. Okay, here we are on Falls Creek, and I am just showing you guys this battle just to show you generally how fragile this tank is. Once again, you're going to see me rush into position, see how truly fast this tank is. And yeah, I tell the team at the top I'm going right. I definitely want to make use of those bushes over here. Probably just do something. I wasn't exactly sure what. I shouldn't really have gone all the way over here because my team kind of went left and one guy went mid. And this tank, like I said, it's fragile, so it cannot fight for itself. It can barely brawl. And it's kind of surprising because the DPM, but the armor and the health are just so abysmal, and it can't really do much for itself. So here, I'm just trying to get some spots off with the camo rating I have. Then I realize, okay, nobody's gonna be over here, so I decide to push. And as I'm pushing forward, I'm thinking, okay, I could probably get the flank, but oh no, there's a Swedish tank. And you know, it's just another tier 5. It's a Swedish medium. It's a tier 5 medium. What can it possibly do to me? I have lots of DPM as long as I just keep trading. But I've only gotten, I think, 2 shots in so far. And try to get one there. But you're gonna see, like, I'm trying to brawl with him, but, like, look how slow my turret is. Look how slow the hull traverses. And I missed that shot. I try to escape. He put, I think, 2 shots in, now 3, and I'm already down to 60 health. And that's really showing you just generally how fragile this tank is. And if I skip forward, I ended up trying to flank, but that Chinu, I think it's the Chinu, yeah, the Chinu rushes me, but I was on the flank. And I end up dying, and unfortunately, we end up losing, I believe. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this was a draw, and actually, but anyways, that was my review on the T67. Definitely a really, really fun tank. I recommend picking it up if you guys have had it before. Maybe it'll come out in shop soon. I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I am a very new channel. Please consider. It's free. You can always unsubscribe if you don't want to, or if you don't like me anymore. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.